Hi guys, welcome to another card session where we talk about profound humility. Today's day 3 of our Mary and Virtue Retreat. It'll be the last day we're talking about profound humility, but we encourage you to keep trying to grow and learn in this virtue throughout the rest of the month. So today we're sharing some quotes from different saints about this virtue, so just sit back and listen. Okay, our first quote is from Padre Pio, and he says, "Humility and charity are the main supports of the whole vast building, and all the other virtues depend on them. One makes up the foundation, the other the roof of the building, the sturdiness of which depends on both. If the heart constantly dedicates itself to the practice of these two virtues, it will have no difficulty with all the others." So, humility is one of the foundations of the spiritual life. Without it, we won't be able to follow God as effectively, since it'll be harder to obey, praise, to take correction, die to ourselves, and be charitable. Our second quote is from St. Augustine, and he says, "It was pride that changed angels into devils. It is humility that makes men as angels." So this quote really struck out to me as very powerful. St. Augustine does a beautiful job making the contrast between pride and humility very drastic. You can't mess around with it. It's not a if you want to type of choice. It's a life or death choice, quite literally. Our third quote is by St. Faustina. It comes from Divine Mercy in My Soul. "The soul's true greatness is in loving God and in humbling oneself in His presence, completely forgetting about oneself and believing oneself to be nothing, because the Lord is great, but He is well pleased only with the humble. He always opposes the proud." I was thinking about not putting this quote in, since I didn't really like it, but I think that's because it hit a tender spot in me. I don't like thinking that I'm nothing. I don't think anyone really does, and sometimes that can be very dangerous. However, when we think that knowing that God has raised us up out of nothing, made man out of dust, shows us that even while we were nothing, God raised us up and will glorify us. And it's actually really very beautiful. Our fourth quote, is by St. Vincent de Paul, and he says, "The most powerful weapon to conquer the devil is humility, for, as he does not know at all how to employ it, neither does he know how to defend himself from it." I once heard, I think in a book by Max Lucado, that the one thing the devil can't fake, even though he is the father of lies, is humility. Pride won't let him. Father Michael Gately, author of 33 Days to Morning Glory, a retreat leading up to the Marian consecration, talks about how in a certain sense the devil is more scared of Mary than God, since Mary hurts him more. It's hard enough to have the most powerful being in the universe put him down, but when it's a humble little handmaid, who in her littleness and profound humility defeats him, that is too much for him. Like St. Vincent said, humility is the most powerful weapon against the devil. Our next quote is by St. Teresa of Avila, and she says, "There is more value in a little study of humility, and in a single act of it, than in all the knowledge in the world." Humility is one of the things that God seems to treasure most. What St. Teresa of Avila is saying here is similar to what Jesus said when he says, "For what does it benefit someone to gain the whole world and yet lose his life?" Mark 8:36. It is so important to practice humility that it's one of the most important and foundational things a person can do. And our last, from Jesus himself, "Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted." Matthew 23:12. So thank you again for listening to our meditation for the day. It was by Teresa Jansen, not me. I don't want to take the credit for it. So we're wishing you a blessed day, and come back tomorrow. We're starting to look at blind obedience. All right, thank you, and a good night.